Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to 302 Sports, live here from the Hooters at the 136 Astro Shopping Center. I'm Benny Pinella alongside my mustachio co-host, Pat Garianis. Pat, how you doing?
Doing good. Thank you. Thanks.
Well, he's rocking the upper lip fur. We, of course, are joined by the greatest wrestler in the history of Delaware. Yeah, that's what he is. He is Smyrna's own Tony Wuest. And, of course, Papa Wuest joins us. The owner of the Delaware Self Defense Academy, Ronnie Wuest, will be on the set with us as well. And, of course, we will talk about girls soccer. We also have baseball, softball, and lacrosse to talk about in D1 and D2, Pat.
Yes, we do. It's going to be a good show. Once again, we got our top player of the week coming up as well. So looking forward to it. No doubt about it.
And of course, every week we got to thank Gary and Nick of Hooters for allowing us to have our show here, 136 Astro Shopping Center, live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And of course, come out, support 302 Sports, and try some of the delicious wings.
Exactly, man. Once again, we pretty much tear a couple down after the show all the time. But once again, say it every week. Going to continue to say it. If you guys got any highlights, scores, stats, any other information you'd like to see us read on the show or just show on the show, got to reach out to us. Contact us and let us know. You can contact us at 302sports@gmail.com. You can also contact us on the website, 302sports.com, and probably most easiest way. Is that even a thing? Most easiest?
The
Catholic
easiest
school
way?
That's Catholic school education for you. Nah, but social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and 302 Sports. Twitter, we got our weekly top 10s go up there prior to the show. Get on there, spread those around. And also our poll questions go on there all the time. And then once again, starting up on Snapchat at sports_302. So check us out on there. And once again, you should have come down here at the Hooters of Newark, 136 Astro Shopping Center, and take in the show.
Over 100 career pins. He is a three-time state champion, Tony Wuest, and his father, Ronnie Wuest, joining us on the show. Guys, thank you so much for coming out.
No problem. Thank you.
So let's talk about your career, Tony. The most dominant wrestler in the history of Delaware. That's what a lot of people have called you. Take us through your journey. What got Tony Wuest into wrestling?
Started when I was young, kind of just as like a sport like any other kid would play. I played baseball, tried other sports out in high school. I played lacrosse, like freshman and sophomore year I played soccer and lacrosse. So kind of started off as something like I just wanted to do. And then growing up, my dad had a team, top team. Kind of got me more serious. Started traveling more, doing out-of-season tournaments. Because for me, the biggest turning point was going, like, not just doing in-season tournaments, but like being like everyone else, going and fighting more competition. So I did that throughout middle school, even into high school. I still do that now. But and then going to Smyrna Middle School, they're always like reputable or whatever.
Tony, you don't just get what you did in your high school career with just talent alone. It takes hard work. Like we said, 108 career pins and a 129 and 18 record. That's just unbelievable, to be completely honest with you. Like we said, not just talent, hard work. Can you talk about work ethic and how important that's been and how much your dad kind of willed that into you growing up?
Yeah, it's a big thing. You don't notice it until something like a big loss happens, like where, I don't work hard enough or something like that. Having somebody to push you along with you is like really good. Like my freshman year, I had my brother, and we were partners every day, so that was nice. It's like a brotherly competition. So, but yeah, work ethic is a lot more than like talent and all that, because you can only be so talented. But if you keep working hard and stay focused and stay out of like bad things and stay straight, you'll be fine.
Now, I want to talk about one of your more dominant performances and something we talked about last night. During the state tournament, only a handful of your matches actually last longer than one period. It's very impressive. You got guys done really quick. Was that a strategy, or is that just product of your dominance?
I don't know if it's dominance or strategy. I kind of have one plan every time I wrestle, and that's, yes, dominate, but I'm very, like, not simple, but what I do is straightforward. Like, I don't try to change things up. Like, if I'm wrestling someone that's better than me, I won't change my game up and try to wrestle like them. I'll just do what I do best, and hopefully it works. And for most of the time, it works pretty well.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right, man? Now, your pop, obviously, he's got quite a background. He's trained in various different things. Owner of Delaware Self Defense Academy, of course. Trained in jiu-jitsu, among other mixed martial arts. you trained in jiu-jitsu a little bit.
Yes,
Can you talk about how that maybe translated into wrestling and how much that kind of helped you out?
The biggest thing is, and he hears this a lot, parents don't want their kids doing jiu-jitsu because they're always on their back. But you never know how to fight off your back until you're actually on your back. And in wrestling, you're not going to just lay there on the back. And then opposite, where in jiu-jitsu you can hold someone on their back for a while and they're not going to try to move because they know they're safe. So when I'm in wrestling and I put someone to their back, I'm good at holding them there because I know what it feels like. Helps out with a lot of balance. Kind of just knowing where you are. Say if you're rolling upside down, you'll feel your way out of things like that.
And as mentioned, of course, your pops owns the Delaware Self Defense Academy. But I want to go back a little further, Ronnie. What got you into jiu-jitsu to start it off?
Well, I wrestled for Smyrna High School also.
Yeah.
And even through college, I did a lot of, open tournaments and things like that. But once college was over, once wrestling was over, I fell into the whole, I'm out of school, I have a real job now, I have a family. What now? And that was in the early 90s, before jiu-jitsu even really hit the U.S. scene. Wuest fought UFC 1 in 1993, but that was before the internet. So for the information to get down to us, that was VHS tapes. So I didn't even know about it until probably the later half of the 90s. And by then I had put on an enormous amount of weight. I got super fat, super lazy, super just, complacent with life. And then my buddy and I stumbled upon, jiu-jitsu. I want to say it was like 97, somewhere around there. And we went up to Philadelphia and we attended a seminar. And at that minute I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me I can wrestle and choke people at the same time? I'm in. Right?
That's awesome.
Right, yeah. Because basically it's wrestling without any rules. And I was relatively violent to begin with, so I was hooked at that point right then.
Now, Ronnie, you got obviously a black belt in Hoist Gracie, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You have 30 years experience, background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, professional mixed martial arts, scholastic wrestling, Muay Thai style, and traditional boxing. That's a vast background, a lot of different skills there. Can you talk about, to maybe the regular person who's not into all this stuff, but maybe interested in getting involved in it? Can you talk about not only what it teaches you physically and how it shapes you physically, but about the other parts of it, maybe mentally and whatnot, how it can change your life?
Yeah, well, that's sort of a more dynamic question than I think you realize. People that want to learn just simple self-defense, the average Joe or lady on the street, there's a fundamentals program for that.
Right.
It has nothing to do with any of the kind of hardcore stuff. And that's the problem is people they come in here, whatever, and they watch UFC and they think that's jiu-jitsu. Well, it's a component.
Right.
So, you have to make sure what the student actually wants. If they just want strictly self-defense and not all the hardcore violence, you have to steer them in the right direction. If someone says, man, I'm looking to get into MMA, I want to punch and I want to do this and that, then you take them down that path.
Right.
So you really have to understand what the student needs and wants. And then you have to offer that. And you have to do it in a very safe environment and an ego-free environment.
We'll talk a little more about the Delaware Self Defense Academy in a second. I want to go back to Tony for a second. Obviously, your pop's a former MMA fighter. Is that something you see potentially in your future?
I don't think so. I'd like to stay on the wrestling aspect, but I'm going to continue to train and be there and all that stuff. But I think I'll stay with wrestling.
I like it.
Because going to NC State, there's a lot of opportunities after wrestling, maybe be on the world team, depending on where it takes me. But I'd love to stay around that area and wrestle with them and maybe even be a coach someday.
Well, you talked about the commitment to NC State. That's an elite program. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Can you talk about, what was going through with the decision? Obviously that's a big decision. I had multiple different, offers and places you could have went. Why NC State?
There was a lot of things that I was kind of deciding between, but the biggest thing for me is that it kind of not scared me, but going that far, didn't know how I would react and fit in and stuff like that. So, but when I went on my official and I hung out with the team and it was just all of us hanging out, just watching stuff on TV and stuff like that, it felt like not like a home, but where I can be for the next 5 or 6 years. And that was whenever I went on a visit, that was the biggest thing I looked for. Can I live here for 5 years? Because theoretically I might be there for 5-6 years, redshirting. And I kind of just like fell in love with it immediately. There were some questions here and there, but I got help from my father, my brother, and my mom through the whole time. So.
Now, Tony, are you nervous at all? You're jumping from a small state Delaware to the 4th-ranked wrestling program in the nation. Are there any nerves?
Oh yeah, ton, yeah. I could go there and be something big, or I could be a bust. It's kind of what I make of it. And for right now, I'm gonna go there. Well, now I'm continuing. I'm gonna go there and make it the best I can. So the nerves are gonna kind of feel it in the work ethic.
Even with the greatest of athletes, they always seem to have something that they feel like they need to work on. Is there something that to take that step to this elite level that you're going to go to? What's maybe the biggest thing that you feel like you need to work on to make that step successfully?
There's a ton, but I think the biggest for me is bottom work, because that and working out more and trying to get in that better shape and staying in that shape for a longer time. But yeah, definitely bottom, because they have riding time in college, so I don't want to be stuck in bottom for two or plus more minutes, because then it's kind of hard to get that back down. So getting out on bottom is one of my focuses for this summer.
And what are some of your personal goals when it comes to wrestling?
Every kid wants to go to college and win a national title,
Okay.
So we'll start there. I kind of want to complete things up to that. Start All-American, go bet, just little goals that go up to the national championship if I ever make it there.
And now, let's go back to the Delaware Self Defense Academy, Ronnie. Being trained by Horace Gracie and eventually opening up the Delaware Self Defense Academy, you've seen a good bit of growth with your business so far. What does the DSDA preach that keeps people coming back?
Well, we have, our philosophy is, first of all, jiu-jitsu is for everyone. There's no pre-requirements, there's no prerequisites, there's no athleticism or being in shape, things like that. So you make people feel that anybody can do it. Secondly, and first, the most important part is safety. People's safety, they're not going to get hurt. You don't want them getting hurt. And possibly as equal to that is there's no ego. You don't want them feeling like they have to be the toughest guy or toughest woman in the room. Because if that environment's there, then people may act tough. If they leave, they're just not going to come back.
Yeah.
They don't want to feel that ego pressure, that they have to prove themselves every single time they come in there. It's not a wrestling room. It's literally a place of higher learning. It's an academy. And that's the way we treat it.
So, if someone, say me, or someone else would want to get involved in the DSDA, how do they do so?
You would just simply, contact one of us. We would certainly ask you a few questions, kind of qualifying questions. What are you looking for, why, so on. We'd invite you in, take a tryout class, give you a little tour of not just the facility, but how the class works. We give you sort of a backstory on jiu-jitsu as an art and as a lineage, and explain to you, what the benefits are, and ask you what are you looking for out of it. And if there's a good fit, there's a good fit, and we're doing well with it.
A few more questions, Ronnie, and we'll wrap this up. The DSDA also is involved in police jiu-jitsu training. What got you involved in that?
Well, that can go on. That's a big topic. I just know that law enforcement doesn't get the training they need, and I've known that for years. I have a lot of law enforcement friends that have said that for years, and now we're really at the pinnacle of, police are really getting a bad rap, in the public and in the public eye. But quite frankly, it's because they don't have the physical training. They're a little bit sometimes too quick with the weapons and things like that. Had they had that physical training, the jiu-jitsu training, it would change things. So I really made it a sort of a passion of mine to offer it anytime I can. And then last year, a couple years ago, my oldest son decided he wanted to be a police officer. So I really made it a passion then. And my oldest son, Ronnie, and I went out to Oklahoma, and we got certified in the Gracie Law Enforcement program. So now we're just offering it to really, I'm doing private lessons right now for a female officer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we're not charging her a thing.
That's very impressive. Of course, the Delaware Self Defense Academy. Check them out online. And one last question. We've had a few family moments on the show, but we've never had a father and a son. So I just got to ask you, Ronnie. We're going to get sentimental.
Well, the answer is he's not taller. I'm not shorter than him. He's just taller than him. And the other answer I know you're going to ask is, if we were the same age in high school, yes, I could beat him.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's
He
all
wouldn't
I
make it through the
There
first
we go.
period.
Oh God! All right, never a dull moment here. But what's it like as a father to watch your son succeed to the level that Tony has in wrestling?
Well, obviously, as a parent, it's proud. I mean, you're very proud of it. But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's not like I'm super shocked by it. I mean, I've been a wrestling coach a long, long time, and when I was coaching him as a younger, you take your relationship out of the equation. I still saw a good wrestler. You know, him and his brother, I saw really good wrestlers. And again, forget the relationship. It didn't surprise me.
Yeah, there you go. Ronnie Wuest there, and of course his son, Tony. You're earmarked for success when you go off to college. You'll be going to NC State this fall. You're excited for that.
Yes, very excited.
There you go. Once again, 302 Sports here, joined by Ronnie Wuest, the owner of the Delaware Self Defense Academy, and the greatest wrestler in the history of Delaware, Tony Wuest. 302 Sports.
For the record, that might be a little strong.
There you go.
Yeah.
Coming up next.
This place is for everybody. Actually, my entire family signed up. So my wife, my children, my young son comes in. My son's only 10. They have the kids classes. They have the fitness class if you're just looking primarily to get in shape. Obviously, the jiu-jitsu class is what I come here for.
Every time I walk through that door, I'm unbelievably happy, that I'm here. I mean, just a reminder of all the energy and effort that I've put in.
Even if you just watch a class first, you won't know until you try.
This place is for everybody. Actually, my entire family signed up. So my wife, my children, my young son comes in. My son's only 10. They have the kids classes. They have the fitness class if you're just looking primarily to get in shape. Obviously, the jiu-jitsu class is what I come here for.
Every time I walk through that door, I'm unbelievably happy, that I'm here. I mean, just a reminder of all the energy and effort that I've put in.
Even if you just watch a class first, you won't know until you try.
This place is for everybody. Actually, my entire family signed up. So my wife, my children, my young son comes in. My son's only 10. They have the kids classes. They have the fitness class if you're just looking primarily to get in shape. Obviously, the jiu-jitsu class is what I come here for.
Every time I walk through that door, I'm unbelievably happy, that I'm here. I mean, just a reminder of all the energy and effort that I've put in.
Even if you just watch a class first, you won't know until you try.
This place is for everybody. Actually, my entire family signed up. So my wife, my children, my young son comes in. My son's only 10. They have the kids classes. They have the fitness class if you're just looking primarily to get in shape. Obviously, the jiu-jitsu class is what I come here for.
Every time I walk through that door, I'm unbelievably happy, that I'm here. I mean, just a reminder of all the energy and effort that I've put in.
Even if you just watch a class first, you won't know until you try.
This place is for everybody. Actually, my entire family signed up. So my wife, my children, my young son comes in. My son's only 10. They have the kids classes. They have the fitness class if you're just looking primarily to get in shape. Obviously, the jiu-jitsu class is what I come here for.
Every time I walk through that door, I'm unbelievably happy, that I'm here. I mean, just a reminder of all the energy and effort that I've put in.
Even if you just watch a class first, you won't know until you try.
No matter where you are in life.
This place is for
at
everybody.
every
Actually,
stage,
my entire family signed
we
up.
are here for
So
you.
my wife, my children,
all
my
of
young
life's
son
big
comes in. My
moments.
son's only 10.
And everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
One is soccer.
I love
Division
our
two.
airmen and their
Oh, because it has the
families
two
to
next
help
to it last week.
provide financial stability.
I promise to make a positive difference in your financial life, from helping you to lower your payments to discovering ways to help you save for your children's future.
From the needs of college students and first-time auto buyers, I promise to identify and take ownership of your needs.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
And welcome back to 302 Sports. Benny Pinella, Pat Garriani. Special thanks again to Tony and Ronnie Wuest joining us on set. It was fun to talk father and dad combo there. That was pretty cool.
And wrestlers and mixed martial artists, They're the true tough guys.
Yes.
You think about it. No bragging. They
No
just
bragging.
go out there and get the job done.
Yeah, walk softly, carry a big stick is what they do.
Is that Teddy Roosevelt you just quoted there?
There you go. Well, Teddy Roosevelt.
That was Teddy
Get some good stuff.
Teddy Roosevelt.
It was Teddy Roosevelt, yeah.
So Pat, I must ask you a question about girls soccer here as we get into the top 10. Yeah, there we go. Full
Keep going,
mustache
man.
punts for today.
Keep them coming.
Looking at the girls' top 10, there are some shakeups today. Number 1 dropping all the way back to number 3. We also have Tower Hill as our new number 1 up from 2. 3-2 is DMA. Archmere is up 5-4. Friends 6-5. Sussex Academy jumping up 2. Sanford, Newark Charter dropping 4. Wilmington Christian at 9. And the unranked Indian River bouncing out. Excuse me as I adjust my... Bouncing in, I should say, but bouncing out is Lake Forest out of the top 10. That's, of course, because last week we saw a couple of big shakeups, Pat, if you want to go through some of those.
Yeah, you look at it. I mean, number 5, Archmere had 2 big games. They defeated Sanford 1-0. That was number 7, Sanford. Worston in that game scored the lone goal for the Auks, and then they backed that game up with a win 1-0 over number 4 Newark Charter. Julia Kochi in that game scored to lead the Auks past the Patriots. And then the one last game that we're talking about here, number 3 DMA, finding a way past number 2 Caravel 1-0 in overtime. Was it Ruggieri? Is that how we say that?
Yes.
You guys know the pronunciation better than me. Game-winning goal 6 minutes into overtime as the Seahawks edged the Bucks.
And of course, you thought the shakeups were done this week. They're not. Plenty of opportunities next week. Division I, St. George's Tech, number 8 team in Division I. They're playing the number 4 team in D2, Archmere, on Monday. Tower Hill will face Friends. Sussex Tech, another D1, D2 matchup there. Opportunity for Indian River to move up the ladder there. That's a Tuesday game at 6 p.m. All right, Sussex Academy remaining unbeaten, moving, of course, up the rankings a little bit there, Mike, after beating number 1 Cape Hemphill Open 1-0, despite being outshot 27-7. They made it count, but why were they able to capitalize against Cape?
2 words. Brianna Duncan. She had 27 saves. 27!
Wow.
That's incredible.
Usually the shots reflect shots on goal and shots that weren't on goal, but she was credited with 27 saves. That's unheard of in soccer.
Yeah, that's
Cape also had 6 corner kicks, which is the best opportunity a lot of times, other than a penalty kick. Corners are the best chance to score. So they didn't give up a single goal in that game, and they just keep winning and winning. I found out their nickname is the Seahawks, just by the way, because I didn't know that the last time we were here. It is on the logo. I saw that.
Learn something new every day, Mike.
Let me tell you about Brianna Duncan. She's a freshman. She's allowed 4 goals in 6 games and 4 shutouts this year. So she had 2 goals allowed in 2 different games. So they're having a great season. They play Woodbridge tomorrow, and 2 more before we meet again here next Wednesday night. So they should be favored in all 3. They have an inside track right now in Henlopen South. Out of nowhere, Sussex Academy is just making their mark. An unbelievable season.
Like you said, 27 saves. That's a season for a lot of goalkeepers. Not to mention getting beat despite outscoring a team by 20. It's very Flyers-esque. That just reminded me of very Flyers-esque right there. But anyway, let's
better
move
goalie
on.
than Flyers.
Had to get the jab in there on the Flyers any way I can. But Jay, DMA, they keep on winning. This team just keeps doing it. After their opening tie versus Mount, they've won 8 straight. What's been the key to the Seahawks' success?
Yeah, and they beat good teams.
Yeah.
Caravel, Newark Charter, Archmere, they've beaten all the top teams. The reason is they're a well-rounded group that has both great offense and defense. So will score some goals, and their defense won't give up anything. They held Caravel to 0 goals last week. So it's a really balanced team, and that's what makes for their success.
Looking at some of these upcoming matchups this week, Mike, we went through them. Pick a game and just kind of give your opinion about it and why people should watch the game you pick.
Well, the obvious one that I'm going to talk about is right here on 302 Sports on Friday night. It's number 1 Padua from Division I against Caravel at Caravel Friday night, 6 p.m. Catch with Mike Lang on the call. And Padua has. You got like that?
I like that.
First, let me start with Caravel. Their goalkeeper, Sydney Keld, has been one of the best in the state, if not the best, this season. She stops just about everything. Padua has striker after striker and attacker, and they just have the offense just keeps coming from Padua. Sometimes the Pandas have a little trouble finishing, so it should be a great matchup is to see Keld against Ashley Brentlinger and Sophie Marini, Christy Cox. Just all those scorers that Padua has. I'm really looking forward to that one. Right, that just jumped right out at me to be the one to watch, and you can watch it right here.
Well, speaking of Padua, hey Nick Halliday. Let's run the D1. Let's run the D1 rankings real fast. We talked about Padua. They're heading the rankings. It's
I'm here
7-1 this
to
year.
provide segues, Pat.
That's it. I just had to get my man's attention. That's all. Padua sitting atop at number 1. CR remaining at 2. Wilmington Charter moving up a spot to number 3, despite after being ranked 4th last week. Sussex Tech also moves up 1 spot to 4. Apo moves up 4 spots, Benny, to number 5. Middletown drops with a loss. They go down to number 6. Henlopen stays put at 7. St. George's Tech enters the top 10 this week at number 8. Smyrna drops down from 6 to 9. William Penn makes their debut onto the top 10 here. And, of course, dropped out from last week, Dover and Polytech. Reason for that, Benny, is some of the scores from last week.
Yeah, we saw Appoquinimink, of course, beating Middletown, the 9th seed over the 3 seed. Brooks getting her game-winning goal in the final couple of minutes there. 3-2 was the score for that one. Middletown then, of course, will be at St. George's Tech today. Of course, we have Mike, a scoring update. We'll get to you in a second.
For you.
We'll get to you in just 1 second, Mike. Caesar Rodney and Appo are going to be added on Friday. Padua will face Caravel on Friday as well. Friday loaded with some good soccer. Saturday as well, Middletown and Sussex Tech. All right, Mike. The game going on right now, Middletown versus St. George's Tech. What's the score for
4-0 Cavaliers.
Wow. Wow.
Big score right there.
Handedly over St. George's Tech. That game goes the way it's looking. What will that mean for St. George's Tech?
That's a final.
That's the final there.
Yeah.
So what does that loss mean for St. George's Tech?
Well, it means that Middletown's still the defending champions, and they're really good. Nothing against St. George's, but Middletown's a step above St. George's in pedigree and just in talent. And if you're St. George's, I wouldn't feel bad about losing this Flight A game. You can't just jump in and beat the big dogs all at once. Nothing to be ashamed about for St. George's. Obviously, I don't know much about the game other than the score. But Middletown's really good. That's what it means.
So not to cut you off, Pat, what does that win mean for Middletown? Because they come off that kind of debilitating loss a little bit to Appoquinimink, and they come back and they're able to fire on all cylinders against St. George's Tech.
Yeah, it's a big one. That was I wasn't at the game, but I did see the highlights, and a very entertaining game. And you fight back. Middletown fights back to tie, and then it falls on that corner. That last second shot there against Appo, it really stinks. So it's good to get back into winning in the groove.
Well, we talked about Middletown and how elite they've been. Appo, of course, as Benny just mentioned, got by Middletown and has the leg up right now in Flight A, Jason. What did they got to do? What did they do well, I should say, against Middletown to earn that victory? And is this a year where Flight A may be up in the air and maybe not a sewn-in thing like we might have thought with Middletown?
Yeah, and Appo, they've played well this year. They've had some tough one-goal losses to Padua and Sussex Tech. They bounced back. They controlled that game from start to finish. Middletown kind of battled back in it, but Appo pulled away there late. Appo stopped a penalty kick from Middletown in that game. Kind of changed the momentum in that one in Appo's favor. I think the Flight A, Appo has the leg up now on Middletown, but William Penn entered this week at 6-1, a team that's right there in Flight A, and can maybe challenge an outside challenge that we didn't see at the beginning of the year. At St. George's Tech, we thought would be in there. They struggled today against Middletown, so I still think it's going to be between Appo and Middletown, and with that win against Middletown, Appo has the leg up, but I wouldn't be shocked if William Penn went out there and upset a couple of those teams.
Well, William Penn did lose to Appo today, so it is. Jason's right. It's Appo's race to lose.
Mike, the S in spring clearly stands for shakeups, and we've seen a couple of them this past week. But looking forward, next week, is there another chance that things could be knocked around again?
Well, there is. The game that I like here is Friday. Another one in Middletown. Caesar Rodney at Appo. Should be a bang-up game. CR is one of the top teams in the state. They always play everybody tough. They're so good down there. They do it in Apple. We've seen Apple. They beat Middletown the other day. They are consistently one of the top 5 teams in the state. So to say Cesar Roddy lost one game this year was by 1 goal to Padua. They're outscoring their opponents 31-4 this season. CR has been the best team in Division I, not named Padua, for the past several seasons. They played Padua, Delmar, Indian River, Sussex Tech, Caravel, and Lake Forest this season. I mean, they're all on the schedule. They haven't played them all yet, so they don't shy away from anybody. That's the best in Division I and Division II, and so they'll be ready for the postseason. This should be a really good game. 2 really top-notch teams, and the difference in the game might be, as Jason mentioned, the penalty kick that Maddie Knoll stopped. She's Apple's goalie, and she's really good. She could be the difference in that game, but if you're anywhere near Middletown on Friday afternoon, that's a game to stop and see.
Benny, you talked about shakeups, and it's not just in soccer. Got some shakeups in softball, too. We'll be back after the break. Sorry to steal your thunder here. Right here on 302 Sports Weekly with softball.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. I'm Burt Reynolds, and here's your softball top 10. We got a new #1 entering the world of softball. Caravel, remaining undefeated. Yeah, shook him on that one.
You were great smoking a bandit, by the way.
Yeah. They move up from 2-1. Apo, remaining undefeated as well. They bump up from 4-2. Your top 5's rounded out as Smyrna jumping from 7 up to 3. DMA falling to #4. Wilmington Charter falling down 2 spots to 5. And then from 10 through 6, a new #10 team, Mount Pleasant. Conrad sits at #9. Lake stays at #8. Sussex Tech falls from 5 to 7. Indian River staying put at 6. Delmar, of course, falling out of the top 10 there, Benny.
I loved you in Celebrity Jeopardy as well, Burt Reynolds. There you go.
I could say what my real name is from that, but we're not going to go there.
All right, well, the shake-up's happening because last week was a crazy week for softball. Caravel, of course, downing the #1 team, DMA, by a run. Nicky Marcone, a homer to start a 7th-inning rally to give Caravel the win in that one. Appoquinimink also beat DMA. It was a rough week for DMA. DMA did get a win back against Mount Pleasant. That's an unranked opponent, and it was a 3-2 win. A rough win because when you come off those losses, you need a big win. They didn't exactly get that over Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant, though, a very good program. Upcoming games this week, we'll see if DMA can find a way to maintain that while other teams shake things up. Padua looks to upset Concord on the road. Appoquinimink will face Caravel in a 1-2 matchup, and the Newark Charter will face Appo. Will be on the road for them. Wilmington Charter will face Appo as well. Big week for the #2 team there, Pat.
Absolutely. We talked about that. That game's going to be streamed,
I
believe, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye out for that, Caravel and Appoquinimink. And we're also going to keep an eye out for our man Nick Alessandrini, maybe a little later with the Twitter poll results. Not quite sure what's going on there, but we'll be seeing. Oh, it's going to be Ryan.
It's going to be Twitter Ryan.
Not yet, Ryan. We'll get you in a second there, big fella. But now, Mike.
Yes.
Caravel had a great comeback win against DMA.
They
take
did.
that top spot away from. What was the key to that win, you feel like?
Opportunities. They took advantage of opportunities. They didn't score till the bottom of the 7th. The game was on 3-2, but they were down 2-0 going into the bottom of the 7th. Nicky Marcone led off with the home run to get them started. They took advantage of 2 DMA errors and aggressive base running, and they scored on a wild pitch. So they proved is you don't need to have 15 hits to win a game. They had minimal amount of hits, and they still managed to come back and win. The sign to me of a veteran ball club that doesn't get rattled even when when they're down to the last couple outs there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them play Appo tomorrow night. But that's it. Opportunity is the word.
Jason, Appo make a big week for them coming up. What do they have to do to keep trending in the right direction up the rankings?
Yeah, they've been real successful this year. They've won a lot of close one-run, two-run ball games, which speaks volumes to the team that they're able to win these tight ball games. So if you're in a tight ball game, they know what it takes to win, and it's pitching and timely hitting. Mike talked about opportunities. That's what Appo does. They take advantage of their opportunities presented from them, but they're going to have to play a clean defensive game against Caravel. DMA played a clean game up until the 7th inning. 2 errors in the 7th inning and a wild pitch did them in. Appo's got to avoid that at all costs on Thursday night.
Now, Mike J., earlier in the year, we had our first top 10s put out to the social media realm, and we kind of got a little bit of talk back about Smyrna's softball team. Well, they jumped. They jumped this week after 2 top 10 wins. What's been so successful for them this week?
Well, they played 4 games since our last rankings came out, and they won all 4. They've won 7 straight. 2 of the 4 teams they beat this week were ranked teams, Wilmington Charter and Lake Forest. They're beating, first off, they're pounding teams that they should be beating, and they're beating handily the ranked teams, and that'll move you up in the rankings. What I like about Smyrna, they have, a lot of high school teams have 1 pitcher that they'll use. Not Smyrna. They have 3 players, Jessica Anderson, Peyton Dixon, and Olivia Smith. They're not afraid to put any of them in a circle. And when you have multiple pitchers, it's not just in baseball, but in softball, you give teams different looks, different speeds, different angles. That's really helpful. And Smyrna's is doing what they have to do. They're beating the teams that are they're beating everybody. They've won 7 in a row, and they're really doing it in emphatic fashion. And they're very well rounded, and they've beaten some good teams. And I like, they deserve to be in the rankings.
Now, Mount Pleasant has cracked the top 10 this week. Last week they were unranked, but they also have 2 losses to Appoquinimink and DMA. So they're being rewarded for playing tough games there, Jason. What's been the key to their success so far?
Pitching. Tegan Bradley, the freshman, has been sensational on the mound. Their 2 losses were 1 run to Appo, 1-0. So she gave up 1 run and lost. They lost the game. Same thing against DMA. She gave up 2 runs. They lose 2-1. So they're losing 1-run games because the pitching's been great. When the hitting starts coming around, that's going to be a dangerous team come tournament time because of the solid pitching by Tegan Bradley. And she's only a freshman.
It's incredible here. All right, so last question for you guys before we go to break, and we'll come with Ryan with the poll results a little bit later. Obviously, the Caravel-Appo matchup is the one everyone's talking about. What other top 10 matchup are you looking forward to this week?
Here it is tomorrow, 3:45 p.m. if you're in Newark, Wilmington Charter and Newark Charter. So Newark Charter is 8-2, and Wilmington Charter, they have them tomorrow. They play Appo on Saturday. So tomorrow you're going to see a pitching matchup of Tony Browning from Wilmington Charter and Caitlin Pontac from Newark Charter. I saw Newark Charter yesterday against Padua. She shut them out. She struck out 10 or 11. Underrated Newark Charter team. They're smart. They're aggressive. Excuse me. They got great pitching, and they did some smacking the ball around yesterday. I think that's a game that's a little bit under the radar, but I love that matchup. The Charters, Newark, and Wilmington should be a great one.
Jay, you got one?
He took my thunder. Wilmington Charter, Newark Charter. Newark Charter started the year ranked. Had a couple bad losses early in the season. But like Mike said, they've won 6 in a row. They've been playing a lot better and under the radar. A win over Wilmington Charter might get them in the rankings next week.
There you go.
Well, Benny, we talked about it.
Yep.
We talked about the poll question of the day. Who's winning, Caravel or Appo? Ryan, what do they got? What are the people been saying?
Well, we want to thank everybody who voted. We got over 100 votes. Just keep them coming. But so far, we have Caravel. People think that Caravel's going to win, but Appo's going to give it a good shot. So we'll see who wins it.
What's the percentage there?
We got percentage.
We got 66% for Caravel and 34% for Appa.
There you go. Okay.
Alrighty.
That people have spoken.
Good job.
They
302
All right, Ryan.
Ryan
Appreciate
right
it,
there.
man.
Yeah. Well, when we come back from the break, good job by him. Young gentleman right there out of St. Mark's. When we come back, we will talk about lacrosse in the state of Delaware. Our top 10 around the corner.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley, cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lowest, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
And welcome back to 302 Sports. Benny Pinella, Pat Garianis. Time to talk about lacrosse. Looking at the top 10, we of course are your stash for all the rankings.
Ooh, that one didn't go well.
Didn't
Ben.
go well.
That one did not go well.
All right. All right. Well, I'll think of another one. Well, I'm thinking of one. We of course look at Salesiana maintaining that number 1 ranking despite a 6-2 record. Caesar Rodney undefeated, moving up from 3-2. Cape Henlopen jumping up a spot as well, 6-3 to from 4-3. Archmere at 5-2. A couple losses for them, dropping back a couple of rankings.
Yep.
Same for Friends, a big loss for them to move to 6-1. DMA at number 6, staying pat there. Same for Caravel, Apo, Dover, and St. Andrews. No one dropping out of the rankings this week. Pat, talk about some scores from last week and why things got shook up.
Yeah, you look at it. Well, this game was on 302 Sports, if I'm not mistaken. Nick Hall was on the call. Number 2, CR defeating number 5, Archmere, 10-9 in a back-and-forth battle. Of course, Stevenson, game-winning, Demetrius Stevenson, the game-winning goal. That was his third of the game. Sanford, really impressive performance against number 4 Friends. They scored 21 goals in that one, defeating them 21-12. Bloom had 6 goals as the Warriors upset the Quakers. And then DMA, number 6 DMA, 14 over number 9 Dover, 14-7. Marcus Cook, 6 goals to lead the Seahawks past the Senators in that one, Benny. As far as upcoming games this week, you're looking at Friends Archmere. That's going on today. We'll go to Mike for a little bit of a sec. Do you have a score?
I do have a score. I was at the game.
How about this?
It was Archmere trailing 5-2 after one quarter, but they won 17-12 for the Hawks.
Yeah, the Hawks getting a big win there.
Breaking news.
How about that? Friday, make sure to go up to Tatnall and check out that rivalry there between Friends and Tatnall. And then also Friday night, Apo will be visiting number 2 CR. That's a 7 p.m. start. And number 8 Apo will also go to number 6 DMA next Tuesday at 3:45. Benny.
All right, of course, we talked about the top 10 there, Mike. Not a lot of changes, not a lot of movement in the top 10. Do you
It's
think
kind of refreshing, Benny, with what we've had in all the other
refreshing, yeah.
sports.
Talking about other sports, of course, the shakeups there. What happened to the third-ranked Quakers in that game? They kind of just seemed to fall apart.
Well, let me tell you, they gave up 21 goals, and that's what happened. You can't win many lacrosse games if you give up 21. And they gave up 17 today to Archmere. They gotta tighten things up. They could fall a little further. That's a good team, Friends. They got some talent, but you just can't give up. You can't give up 21 goals, period.
Yeah.
CR picked up a big win, Jay. Obviously, you called the game behind, Stevenson and Wagenhofer. They're 2 big guys. They were down 2 in the fourth quarter to Archmere. They come back and pull that one out. What did they do in that fourth quarter to turn the tide?
Well, they got the ball into Stevenson's hand in the fourth quarter. Archmere did a good job of double teaming him early, taking the ball out of his hands. In the fourth quarter, he kind of found himself open. They did a lot of plays to get him the ball in space. He was still well guarded by Archmere. In fact, one of the goals he got taken down as he let the shot go, but still strong enough to score. Watch top plays later. That could be in there. But it was a great fourth quarter. They only gave up 1 goal in the fourth quarter too, which was key, and that was a Mitch Moyer man-up goal. So even strength, they played, didn't give up any goals there in the fourth quarter. Solid defensive effort by them, and a great way to win in Claymont, which is not an easy place to still win.
All right, in order for some of these bottom 5 teams to jump into the top 5, Mike, we're going to have to start making some moves here in these next couple of matchups. What's a matchup next week that a potential bottom team, bottom 5, I should say, can make a move?
Well, like Appo, they have a great shot to do it. They play Cesar Rodney on Friday night. That's a big one because CR's number 2 in the state. And then, so that would really help them. Archmere almost beat CR. So, and the game was, like we mentioned, was on, we streamed. So if you're Appo, a lot of the coaches tell us they go right to 302 to watch. So you have a way to scout your opponent there. So Appo can go in to see what CR's all. And everybody knows that they're about. Wagenhofer and Stevenson are the big guns, and Jacob Stant the goalie. So
and don't forget about Noah Longus.
And Noah Longus, the guy sets up everything for that team. He's the quarterback. So Appo can beat CR, giving Friends troubles last week or so. That could open up a spot in the top 5. I think Appo has the best chance to move up.
All right, really quick before we go to break, guys, is there a game to really keep your eye on this week? I'll let you guys both go at it. What do you got, Jay?
I like like he said, the Appo Quinnipiac Cesar Rodney. Appo goes down there on a Friday night. Not easy to play at Ryder Stadium, but if they can go down there and sneak out a win, Cesar Rodney's coming off a lot of 1-goal games against tough competition, so maybe they catch them at the right time and can sneak out the win. If not, if Cesar Rodney gets the win, maybe they get the momentum to possibly jump a Salesianum.
You got one, Mike, or is that the same for
Well,
you?
that's the top game on the schedule. But another game, involving Appo. I'm all choked up about it. Is Delaware Military Academy at Appo. They play on Tuesday, so it'll be after our rankings are solidified for next week. But that's a good statement game for DMA to come out and say, hey, we belong up there too. So I like the DMA Appo, but the top game is going to be the Appo Cesar Rodney.
A lot of things shaking up lacrosse. When we come back, though, we got to look at baseball. It's around the corner on 302 Sports.
Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Well, it's time to talk about baseball here with my bristled brother-in, Pat Garianis on 302 Sports.
That's it right there,
There you go. I knew I was going to find a zinger. It's time to look at baseball, the top 10 there. Big move in baseball, Pat. Going from 4-1, Cape Henlopen at 9-1 is now the number 1 team in the state. Cesar Rodney making a big jump for themselves as well. Mad shakeups here. St. Mark's up to 3, jumping up 3 spots. Caravel falling back 3. St. George's Tech from 2 to 5. Apple Quartermac 3 to 6. William Penn, the unranked team, moving into number 7. Middletown staying pat at number 8. 9 is Salesianum. And of course, looking at the rest of the top 10, you have Hodgson there. The team falling out is Dover.
Hey, looking at some scores from last week. I know it's not quite Tom Selleck-esque, but we'll get there eventually. Scores from last week: St. Mark's defeating Sally's in the big-time rivalry game, 7-5, 8 innings. JT Talmovich, 2-run triple in the top of the 8th in that one. Number 4, Cape Henlopen, behind that strong pitching, gives up 4 runs, but they score 7. They also knock off Salesianum. David Erickson, he struck out 6 in 5 innings, and was also 2 for 3 with a double at the plate, getting his little Shohei Ohtani on right there. And then Newark defeating number 1 Caravel in the shocker of the week, 6-3. Nick Zenga, complete game, 4-hitter, 11 strikeouts in that one, Benny. You got to put up that performance if you're taking down number 1.
Oh, yeah, and of course, coming up this week, some other games that are breeding grounds for performances here. Salesiana will face Appoquinimink, Archmere will face Hodgson, Sussex Tech and St. George's Tech. St. George's Tech then will face Salesianum on the road. Cape Henlopen will face Caesar Rodney as well. It'll be a Tuesday nighter at 4:15.
Yeah, so let's go right into this one here. Jason, top 10 changes again after another week of upsets like we talked about. Can Henlopen hold on to that top spot for a few weeks? If they can, why? And first, they got to survive number 2 CR on the road. How do they leave this game with a win?
Well, Cape has been dominant on the mound. They have some great pitchers. Erickson pitched well against Salesianum. You got Zach Eloff, a great talented arm. So whoever throws against Caesar Rodney will have their hands full. That Caesar Rodney team puts up a lot of runs. Me and Benny saw them against Newark Charter. They had 13 runs by the 3rd or 4th inning. So they can score a lot of runs. So the arms at Cape Henlopen are going to have to shut down the bats from CR. If they do that and survive and go back to Cape Henlopen, I think it's a good chance that their next toughest game coming down the stretch will be against St. Mark's as the Spartans travel down to Cape Henlopen to finish the season. But they have a good chance of running the table with that win against Caesar Rodney before the St. Mark's game.
Mike, let's talk about that Salesianum-St. Mark's matchup and really what it means for Salesianum. Tough loss for them, and really their schedule doesn't get any easier as they move forward. They have to maintain a 500 record in order to make the tournament. Do they have the ability to do that?
Well, they do, and I was reading this. I was going over the notes last night, and just thinking about Salesianum in general, not just baseball. And I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but they did the same thing in football, where they schedule so tough in a lot of sports, and sometimes I wonder if they just schedule too tough. But they're going to be playoff ready, but they have to get to 9 wins. You have to be 500 or better to get in. They can do it. They have a lot of seniors in that team. They got good pitching. They got guys that can hit. Josh McGuire hit a home run in that game against St. Mark's. They might still be rolling through the parking lot at Sally's. But they played Cape, Caravel. They did beat Caravel on Tuesday. That's a big win. Appoquinimink, I know Conrad's down, but they play Conrad. They play St. George's, Archmere, which is down a little bit right now. Sussex Tech. They're not ducking anybody, but they have to beat the teams that they should beat, and they may have to pull an upset to get in there.
And they got the Spartans again.
They have St.
Next
Mark's
Wednesday night
twice
at Frawley Stadium
on 302.
On 302 next Wednesday night at Frawley Stadium. So
and St. East twice, which is not an easy.
St. Elizabeth twice. I was just about to bring that up. The Vikings are playing well this year, and they get them 2 times.
Yeah, I think they get there. It's not going to be easy. They might finish with a 10-8 record, possibly even 9-9. They'll be in, and they're going to be a team that nobody wants to play in the playoffs because they will have played all of the best teams in the state. But they could use an easy breather once in a while, but they just don't have any on the schedule.
Well, like you said, Mike, a very big key is reading the show notes. Also, the team that's really been the surprise of the year that no one's really paid attention to, but they found their way in the top 10 has been William Penn. They've won 6 in a row after a slow start, including wins over 3 top 10 teams. What's been the key for them, Jay?
And that doesn't include yesterday's win over St. George's.
Another shutout, by the way.
Another shutout. So they're beating these Flight A teams. Flight A has a lot of ranked teams in there. Middletown they beat last week. They beat Hodgson already. Then you throw in a win against St. George's Tech, and all of a sudden William Penn's in the driver's seat for that competitive Flight A title. The pitching has been the key to their success. They shut out another team yesterday, St. George's Tech, a great hitting team. So William Penn's doing it behind their pitching and some strong defense. And they're a team that, if they win the rest of their Flight A games, they win that conference.
Mike, next week, full of plenty of great matchups, one being, of course, Salesianum St. Mark's at Frawley Stadium. Is there another matchup that has your eye?
Well, we talked about the Cape Caesar Rodney, which is the one that really grabbed me, but we talked about that already. I'm going to stick with my alma mater here, Salesianum. Tomorrow they're at Appoquinimink. And then on Tuesday, St. George's comes up to Wilmington. So they have some really tough games coming up. Both should be really good games. I really like that game at Appo tomorrow. It's another road test for the South. Yeah, they beat Caravel on the road. They're going to go down to Middletown tomorrow and play Appo. Appo's in that really, really competitive Flight A. So I think tomorrow will be a really good test for Sleazy. It should be a good game. So that the two Sally's games, other than that KCR game, the two Sally's games is what I'm looking forward to. And they have Tuesday, Wednesday. St. George's on Tuesday, St. Mark's on Wednesday. So not an easy upcoming stretch.
Rough.
For the Big S.
Yep. Well, playing back-to-back nights will be very difficult for him. But of course, the Frawley Stadium game Wednesday night you can watch on 302 Sports. Well, for myself, Benny Pennell, Pack Arianes. As a matter of fact, my Whiskered Warrior over here is going to have the rundown for you, the final countdown coming up after the break.
Geraldo at large, one could say. Get my Geraldo Rivera on.
It's up next on 302 Sports.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create. He began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian is your local real estate resource. Brian Hatley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hatley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hatley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com. The Hadley Group is your...
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
How about Groucho Marx?
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. I'm Ron Burgundy. We're going to check in with some former Delaware athletes making their names in their current colleges. First up, let's visit Newman softball. We're going to check in with Jen Szyminski of Caravel. She pitched a 2-hit shutout in a 12-0 5-inning win. In her 5 innings, she allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, struck out 7. Her teammate Kirsten Fowlers, formerly of Padua, went 3 for 4 and knocked in 4 runs in that game. Fowlers went a combined 6 for 8 with 5 ribbies in the series, 3 for 4 in each game. That's a hitting display right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move right on to Salisbury softball. We'll check in with Sammy Mumford of Indian River. She went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs in Game 1 of a doubleheader, then followed that up with another 2 for 3 performance in Game 2, scoring 2 runs and adding an RBI in that one, as Salisbury University ran its winning streak to 10 with a conference doubleheader sweep of Penn State University, Harrisburg. Let's go check in with Katie Sterling. She playing her ball at Widener. She formerly went to St. George's. She was named the MAC Commonwealth Player of the Week for the week ending April 22nd of 2018. First time this season she's received those honors. 3-in-1 week for her team. She went 10 for 16 at the plate, slugged over 1,000 at 1.188. Finished the week 12 RBI, 7 runs scored, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run in a doubleheader split. She then went 6 for 9 with 2 doubles, 2 triples, 4 ribbies, 4 runs scored in a doubleheader sweep of Lycoming. Move right on to Wagner baseball. Sophomore righty Nick Rubino, formerly of Salesianum, earned his 6th win of the season after not allowing a single hit or run in 2 2/3 inning of relief, while walking 1 and striking out 3. Let's check in on Kendra Ziemba. That's a famous name around the state of Delaware. The sophomore, formerly of Hodson, did her part as the ECU handed the league leader USF its first conference loss 3-2 in walk-off fashion. She singled to center to lead things off and advanced to second base on a fielding error in the outfield. Then she reached base safely again when the Bulls defense couldn't handle a bunt attempt cleanly. And with runners at the corners and no outs, freshman Tyler King worked a beautiful at-bat and eventually hit the slow roller to shortstop, who could not throw home in time as Yemba slid home for the walk-off. Let's check in with Rider University baseball. Game 2 of a doubleheader here that saw a split between the Rider University and Manhattan. In that game, junior Brennan McAllister, formerly of Middletown, went a career-high 5 for 5 with 4 runs scored and an RBI to lead the Rider attack. So now, let's check in on the local colleges. We heard about the local athletes. Let's hear about the local schools. First, we're going to check in with Goldie Beacom. They set a 2 single-game records in posting an 8-1 Central Athletic Collegiate Conference win over Dominican in Game 1 before a 9-7 loss in the nightcap. Junior Brandon Abdul notched 14 strikeouts to break previous mark set by freshman Trevor Jump, who had 11 against post on April 14th. Senior Raul Perez Duran had 5 stolen bases in the opener to break his own record of 3 accomplished in consecutive games against the University of Sciences on April 15th. Let's move right on down to Wesley baseball. The Wesley College baseball team split a conference doubleheader against Marymount in Game 1. All 9 Wesley batters reached base in the win. Chris Seibert went a perfect 6 for 6 with 4 runs batted in, 2 doubles and 2 runs scored in the 15-5 win. Alex Mars of William Penn struck out 8 batters in his 7 innings of work. 3rd win on the year for him. And Ryan Devine of Dickinson pitched a scoreless 9th inning to seal the win off. Game 2 saw Cody Dimitrik, I believe that's how you say that young man's name, from Cape Henlopen. He went 4 for 5 in the nightcap of that one. So let's move right on to UD softball. Blue Hen freshman and 3rd baseman Sarah Bessel, formerly of Conrad, lined an RBI single in the bottom of the 6th inning to give the UD softball team a 3-2 victory over the College of Charleston. Blue Hens and Cougars were knotted at 2 in the bottom of that inning when Alicia Delator laced a line drive to the left field fence with 1 away. And then, of course, Bessel made magic happen there. The Blue Hens will take on Fordham. That's a doubleheader. April 25th starts, I think that's today, isn't it? So that started, already done probably. Let's move right on to UD baseball. It was a strong week that included 9 hits and 6 2-out RBIs. Delaware freshman Jordan Hutchins, formerly of Dover, was named the Conference Rookie of the Week on Monday. Hutchins started in all 5 games of Delaware this week, hit .474, that's a 9 for 19, with at least 1 hit in all 5 games. The Delaware native went 2 for 4 in Delaware's LBC game Tuesday before turning the most productive day of his young career Wednesday against St. Joe's, where he went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs in that one. Delaware's going to kick off another 5-game week tomorrow afternoon against Delaware State. First pitch from Dover scheduled for 3 p.m. Let's move on. Wilmue softball. Game 1 of a 3rd doubleheader in which they saw a sweep of Felician, 8-3 and 5-0. Rosalind Burton of CR went 2 for 3, 2 runs scored. Lexi Bauman of St. George's added 2 hits as well, with a double and 2 runs scored in that one. That was Game 1. Game 2, Michaela McCarthy set the Golden Falcons down in order in the top of the 2nd to secure the complete game shutout, improved to 13-8 on the year. And let's move right on to Wilmue lacrosse. It was a goal-heavy 2nd quarter that put Wilmue men's lacrosse team in a deep hole on Saturday at Chestnut Hill. But their senior day was spoiled at the WU Athletic Complex. 16-6 was the final in that one. Dylan McLeaf scored twice for the Wildcats, while Corey Melvin, formerly of Hodson, added a goal and an assist. Kyle Leary and John Novak closed the Wilmington book with 1 goal each. Noah Given of Apo made 22 saves in the losing effort. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to have your players of the week and also the top 5 plays. So stick around. We'll be right back.
No matter where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you, for all of life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. This is Groucho Marx checking in with you. Right now we have Ryan checking back in with us. Supposedly we have a surprise second poll question that was put up on Twitter. I'm very interested to hear what this is about. What happened, Ryan?
It was inspired by your mustache.
Okay.
It looks great. And one of the many questions that we posed on our Twitter poll was, does he have a comb for this mustache? And let me tell you, I voted yes because I know he does, but 80% of you said he does, 20% said no. He does have one, folks.
He does. And you know what, Ryan? You're right. And the great part about it, it's got the comb on one end, and then you turn it over, and it's got a brush.
That's awesome.
It's got a brush on the other side. It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Thanks,
You got to talk to St. Mark's, man. Maybe they'll let you grow one out, man. That'd be good. Join the club, man. Join the club. All right, here we go. Players of the Week. Thanks for voting on that one. That's probably was that a record breaking? That was probably our most voted poll question in history of 302 Sports, more than likely. All right, here we go. Players of the Week. For the girls, big congratulations to Brianna Duncan, freshman from Sussex Academy Soccer. We talked about it earlier in the show. 27 saves as they took down Cape Henlopen 1-0 in an interdivision top 10 battle. She also shut out Milford this week and has 4 shutouts this year in her 5 matches. So props to her. For the boys, we know this name, Josh McGuire, the slugger, senior slugger from Salesianum. 3 for 7 in games versus St. Mark's and Henlopen. 2 home runs in those games and 4 RBIs. He's hit his home run against St. Mark's went about 400 feet in the air, but they said it was about, the legend says it went about 450, 460 on the bounce. And I don't know, Mike and Jason, they both know dimensions very well. They said this thing would have went out of Citizens Bank Park. We'll see about that. Real fast before we get to top plays, make sure you check in with our live streams this week. Softball and soccer matchups coming at you. First up, softball, number 2, Apo facing number 1, Caravel. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. right here on 302 Sports. And then Friday night, tune in for a big soccer matchup. Number 1, Padua will be visiting number 3, Caravel. Friday night, 6 p.m. Once again, check that out here on 302 Sports. And right now, let's check out these top plays. Number 5, let's go. Let's check in Mitch Moyer here. He's going to blow the shot by the... The 9. Here's Meat. They call him Meat, Demetrius Stevenson. This young man right here, he's got a rifle attached to his arms. And that's 3rd-degree assault right there. Top shelf left corner. He says, are you not entertained? Number 3, Nicky Marcone. Leadoff homer. Get used to seeing this. I feel like we see this once every couple of weeks. And the crowd goes wild as Marcone sends it in. Look at, that's a strong wind blowing in, and she still was able to get it out of the park. That's impressive right there as Caravel took down DMA and earned themselves the number 1 spot in our softball rankings. Number 2, once again, it's this young man they call Meat. This is the game winner. Look at this guy. You can't stop him. Again, top left corner, as Nick Alzadrini said, that's where Mama keeps the Thin Mints. Woo! This young man, you'll be seeing him at Rutgers next year. And number 1 play of the week, it's Bryce Greenlee with a diving catch to end the inning. This, of course, was streamed on 302 Sports this week at Frawley Stadium. Look at this. Flared into center field. Young man just sprawls out. Hey, Mom, I got the jersey dirty. You got to wash it. Get some Tide Pods out. Clean it up. It's an impressive play. So we're back here. I've been riding solo the last little bit of it. Thanks once again for tuning in. Any last, Pat, let me read the script here like Ron Burgundy. Pat, any last words? Well, yes, Benny. We want to give a special shout out And a good luck to all of our former 302 athletes who will be waiting to hear their name called in the 2018 NFL Draft starting tomorrow night and running throughout the weekend. Bilal Nichols, Brian O'Neill, and Quadri Henderson, we hope that your lives will change this weekend for the foreseeable future. From all of us at 302 Sports, thank you once again for tuning in, and have a good night. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, different place. I believe we're going to be at Frawley Stadium, am I correct, Nick?
Yes.
And is it going to be earlier? 6. It's going to be an hour earlier, so not the same time. 6 p.m. next week from Frawley Stadium. Be sure to tune in. Got some good baseball action coming to you then. Until next week, we'll see you.